I guess we're live. You want to say hello, Noodle?
Hello. How are you?
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Live with Dr. S and Noodle. We are live from. Do I click this out? I don't know what this is. Or should
You can
leave this out?
No, you can.
Remember, we're learning. I also realized I sit too close to
The computer.
Yeah,
Because dive right in.
because it's a little like wolf. Like it's too close. Anyway, hi, I'm Dr. Sclerotherapy.
I'm Noodle.
Yes, Tiffany, aka Noodle. We are. Oh, hi, Abby. We are live from Your Interventional Vascular Care. I am the owner and founder. I'm a board certified interventional radiologist, and we are going to talk about today. We're going to talk about Noodle. You want to?
Varicose veins. Spider veins.
And
And any veins you could think of.
Well,
No, sclerotherapy. I don't remember the last one.
It's a very broad topic. We're going to talk about all the veins. Okay, you're right. Yeah, we're going to talk about sclerotherapy for varicose veins and spider veins, which is a treatment for varicose veins and spider veins. That is the first segment. And then the second segment, we're going to talk about skincare. So we're going to talk about over-the-counter skincare versus organic skincare versus a medical grade skincare. Because there's a huge difference between all of them. And a lot of people don't understand what the difference is. So, okay. I'm having difficulty getting comfy today. I don't know what my problem is. So, okay. Ignore that.
Oh, yeah, they came on last time, too.
Yeah, I don't know why. I had the computer charging like all day, so I don't know what its issue is. But anyway, okay, let's get talking. So, Noodles.
What's that?
What's a spider vein?
They're like these little ugly veins on your feet. Like, you can get them on your legs, too. They... I don't know how to explain it, but they're very dark. They're blue.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're just chilling there, I guess. They don't look really.
So spider veins are kind of like what they sound like. So like they look like little spider webs, like on your legs. You can have a few little here and there. You can have a lot. Like there can be a cluster of them. They can be spread out. Sometimes they're on the inside of your leg. Sometimes
Hi, Joey.
They can be spread out. They can be on the inside of your leg. They can be on the outside of your leg, and there can be different causes for them. They could be genetic, but then there's also another cause, which is called venous insufficiency, which is the underlying issue that we're going to talk about. And then varicose veins, you know what varicose veins are, right?
Yeah, varicose veins are those thick, ugly veins that pop out.
Mm-hmm. The thick, bulging, ugly veins. So, I'm going to blow your mind. You ready for this? Spider veins are varicose veins.
They're just fatter?
Spider veins? Spider veins are the little ones.
They have a lot of McDonald's. They chunk up.
They're the beefier version. So they're all, whenever you have, okay, so we're going to rewind. We're going to go back to the beginning. Okay. So venous insufficiency, that is what causes all of these issues. So venous insufficiency, the way that your blood gets from your heart to the rest of your body is your heart pumps, right? So it pumps the blood. And so it's under pressure and it goes. The way that your blood gets back to your heart from the other parts of your body, so basically in the reverse, we don't have any pump. There's no pump there. So basically our muscles and our movement, they get the blood back to our heart, and then our veins have these little valves inside. So the blood comes up through the valves open, and then they shut. And then when they shut, that's what keeps the blood from cooling back and going backwards, basically. So we go up back to the heart. So open, close, open, close. When these valves stop working and they like hang open, that's when you get blood pooling. And that's called venous insufficiency. So when your valves stop working, the veins are not working sufficiently, basically. So that means the valves are not. So venous insufficiency is what leads to the varicose veins, which are the big, giant, bulgy, and also spider veins, because spider veins are technically varicose veins, but they're just very tiny. There's actually 3 categories. There are the spider veins, which are the tiniest, and then the ones in the middle are called reticular veins. So they're kind of like in between spider veins and like big bulging veins, and then the big bulging varicose veins, etc. So sometimes people will present with the spider veins first, because that's kind of like the first
sign,
right? Like more
symptom,
right? And then it'll progress into the bigger varicose veins. So, yeah, and it's all venous insufficiency. So, I mean, basically, why do your valves stop working? Different reasons. It could be genetics. You know, if your mom or your dad or your brother or your sister or whatever have them, then it's very likely that you will have them also. Yeah. Hormones, pregnancy, post-pregnancy, menopause, birth control, exposure to excess hormones can cause them. Prolonged standing or sitting. So people who have jobs where they stand all day, or if they sit all day. So standing for too long and sitting for too long is a bad thing. So you're gonna have to they're having.
So sit for 5 minutes, stand for 5 minutes, sit for 5 minutes. Does that work or no? Not really.
I'm just exhausted. No, but I mean, you know how they say how sitting is the new smoking.
That's very true.
So it's important. 2 hours. If you're sitting in front of your computer for 2 hours, then get up and go for a walk for 10 minutes just to get blood moving. Because basically what happens is when you sit for a long time and your legs are just kind of dangling and you're still, the blood is pooling because the blood is not going back up. So even if your valves work okay, it puts pressure on the valves. And so then they start to fail. And same thing with standing. If you're just standing still for a really long time, it's the same thing. It puts pressure on the valves. If you have a job where you sit and stand a lot, compression socks. I had mine on. I'm not gonna try and get my leg.
Oh yeah. I don't know where you're gonna start doing a split on
my leg all the way up in the show. You might get viewers for the wrong reason when I do that. Yeah, compression socks. So I love my compression socks ever since medical school. I wear my compression socks every single day. So what they do is they help to keep the blood moving up forward back towards your heart. So it takes the pressure off of the valves in your veins. Obesity, if you're overweight, again, that can, what are you waving at?
Oh, true. Hi, we're back.
We're back. It just went, but we're back now, right? Okay. Sorry. I don't know. All of a sudden it said can't reconnect, try reconnecting. So I guess, I don't know. What was I saying? Oh yeah, obesity. If you're overweight, that can also put pressure, on your veins. Age, as you get older, and then also injury or trauma to the leg. So, you can get venous insufficiency. Okay, so this is how I explain leg veins to patients about closing off the veins in their legs. Obviously, they get nervous because they're like, well, but I thought veins off was bad. How does that, right?
Yeah.
So this is how I explain it to patients. I don't know if you've ever heard me explain this. Have you ever heard me explain this to you before? The LIE and the service road?
No.
No?
No, I've never heard of that one.
The new one for Noodle too. Okay. So for all y'all out there who may not be in New York, so we're on Long Island, beautiful Long Island. The Midtown Tunnel is the tunnel how you get from, there are other ways, but let's pretend like there aren't, okay? The Midtown Tunnel is the main way how you get from Long Island into Manhattan, right? And the main road that runs the entire length of Long Island is called the Long Island Expressway. So I tell patients, your deep veins in your legs are like the Long Island Expressway, right? You want to get to the Midtown Tunnel, which is your heart. There's only one way to get to the Midtown Tunnel. It's the Long Island Expressway.
That's a lot.
There's only one way for your blood to get back to your heart, or your deep veins. But then there's... We're back? Okay, we're back. I'm sorry, we keep freezing. I don't know what's going on. The weather's kind of funky. That might be it. Anyway. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, the LA. And then there's the service road. So, service road runs along parallel the LIE.
Mm-hmm.
The service road is like your peripheral veins in your leg. Okay? Those are the veins that start to fail. And those are the ones that cause the spider veins and the varicose veins, and other symptoms too. Other deficiency, heaviness in your legs, fatigue in your legs. You know, if you sit too long, you stand too long, your legs feel really heavy, really tired. Cramping at night, swelling, pain. You know, pain that could interfere with activities. If the pain is really bad, a lot of patients will say, well, I used to exercise every day. I used to live to exercise. I can't exercise anymore. Difficulty walking. These are all symptoms of venous insufficiency. So the venous insufficiency, you can get it in your deep veins, which are your LIE, but it's mostly your peripheral, which is the service road. So this is how I explain to patients. We can shut your service road down. That's okay. As long as your LIE stays open, you're good to go. So that's how we fix or take care of the venous insufficiency. I shut down those peripheral veins in your leg. And then as long as your LIE is working good, your deep veins are working
the main
good.
one.
Right, the main one. Now, this is kind of going back to trauma, injury trauma. If you have an issue with your deep veins, you can get venous insufficiency in your deep veins. If that is the problem, unfortunately, there's nothing anybody can do for that. It's compression socks because we can't touch your deep veins. We can only touch your peripheral veins and fix those. So, all right. So, what do I mean when I say we're going to fix, important symptom of venous insufficiency, along with achy, heavy legs, swelling, night cramps, restless leg, you know, like you're sleeping and your leg just kind of like does its own thing. That's restless leg. Skin changes. So,
like the discoloration?
Right, discoloration. So you can get discoloration, and that's basically, it's from the blood that pools in your feet and your legs. Red blood cells, they have what's called hemosiderin, and that's how and iron, that's how we move oxygen, right? It attaches to the red blood cells. When it hangs out in your skin for a really long time, it seeps out into your skin, and that's why you get the discoloration. So kind of like darker, brown tinge skin.
Yeah, and that's how.
I'm sorry.
Would you consider those your first symptoms?
No, those are later. Those are excellent question, Noodle. Yeah, those are later symptoms. When you start getting into, usually the first symptoms are the heavy legs, the cramping, the fatigue, the spider veins, and then even the varicose veins. When you start getting into like skin changes, that's a more progressed symptom. And then the worst symptom are ulcers. So ulcers, that basically your skin is under so much pressure from the venous insufficiency, it breaks down. So, and then it forms like a round ulcer. And usually it's on the inside of your ankle, on the inside. If that happens, you must go find a doctor immediately.
Yeah.
Because you can get very sick. It can lead to infection, in your blood that can affect the rest of your body. It's not good. So, and don't try and heal it on your own. Please go see a physician, because it needs to be taken care of. Sometimes it might need to be debrided, which means it needs to be cleaned out. It's basically, your skin is not getting the blood supply that it needs, and it's under too much pressure. So it needs help to heal. So please find a physician. If it's not me, find somebody else. Anyway. We're not going to So, how do we take care of these veins? Noodles.
There's not many options. We can do...
There are multiple options, yes.
Varithena. You can do the Varithena. You can do, sclerotherapy, but that's for the spider veins.
Well, sclerotherapy, so the way that varicose veins used to be treated, or the peripheral veins used to be treated, was surgery, right? Stripping, exactly, stripping. So back in the day when I was a surgical resident, for those couple of years, we used to do vein stripping.
Yeah.
Literally, you go in.
I don't think many physicians do. It's
nobody.
Consider one of the favorites for sure. Not.
It's a little barbaric.
Yeah.
And I did the job to a certain degree, but that was all they had when they, so basically they would go in and literally they would tear the veins out, tear the peripheral veins. You leave the deep veins alone, you tear the peripheral veins out. So nobody does that anymore. Then came along, laser, RF and laser, which are good and still good, viable options. They get the job done if done properly. I used to do it. I don't particularly like doing it because patients don't particularly like it. In order to do the laser, what you do is you feed a special laser fiber up into the vein that you want to shut down on the leg, and then you're heating up the inside of the vein, and like you're basically burning it. And then what that does is it causes the vein to spasm and collapse, and then eventually it sticks together. The problem with laser is it's heat. It's very, very hot. And so in our body, our nerves, arteries, and veins like to run together in bundles. It's like the body's pathway, or what is it called? Circuit, right? So if you're gonna burn the inside of a vein, that heat is gonna travel right into the surrounding tissue. So you have to separate that vein out from the nerve and artery because you don't want to burn the artery. It causes the patient a lot of pain if you burn the nerve or damage or whatnot. So you have to, it's called tumescence, where you put in special fluid that has lidocaine in it, which is numbing. But what it does is you have to get it between the vein and the rest, and the artery and the nerve, so that it kind of pushes the vein away so that you can burn it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
it's like a separator.
Right, exactly. Unfortunately, which is something that we do frequently in interventional radiology for other things. So like if I have to do an ablation or a burning of a tumor in somebody's body, like on their kidney, and it's real close to their colon, I'll go in and I'll separate the colon and the tumor away with using saline or tumescence, and then I can safely burn the tumor, and
it won't affect
the colon. So it is a viable, procedure that we do all the time. However, unfortunately, in order to get the vein completely separated all the way down the leg, it requires a lot of little needle sticks.
Because you have to put a lot of separation.
Yeah. Patients usually don't love that.
Yeah, no one really likes the needles. We all get tattoos. We don't want to get.
Don't even get me started on. I have such a vivid memory of a patient who was covered in tattoos, and was like melting down because I had to take out a port under their skin because they needed to get medicine like a long term, and this port went in and they wanted to be put asleep, and I was like, this will take me literally 5 minutes. I'm not putting you under general anesthesia for 5 minutes. And he was just like, no. He's like, I gotta go to sleep. I was like, okay, fine. I said, I'll give you sedation. I said, but then that means you have to stay and recover with me for 2 hours. Like, I can't just give you sedation and send you on your way. Plus, he didn't have anybody in there to like drive him home. This is all safety things. We do things for a reason in medicine, not just to like kind of like, torture you guys. Yeah.
Question.
So, we have a question?
Yeah, Abby asked, is an ulcer an open wound?
Yes, an ulcer is an open wound. So it is very important to take care of it properly. And what is that going on? Is like somebody calling us?
I don't know. Hi, Brittany.
Hi, Brittany. Hello. I don't know why this is being, now it decides to go away. Yes, an ulcer is an open wound. So it is very, hi, Belen. Those are my peeps. What's up, Belen IR? You guys, when you come into New York, hello. Those are like some of the best nurses I ever worked with. Brittany's bomb. Okay, so shut up. Yes, what I keep saying, yes, Abby, yes, an ulcer is an open wound. So that's why it is very important to have it taken care of properly by a physician. Don't just put some Neosporin on it and a Band-Aid. Okay, there are special medications out there and antibiotics that are used to close it up, and so that
it will not. Because if not, it will never heal.
Right. Well, it's never going to heal unless you get your venous insufficiency fixed. Treated. So it just becomes like a round robin cycle. So that's why it's important to treat the venous insufficiency. So I totally lost my train of thought. What was it? What was I talking about before? Oh, yeah, laser. Back to laser. So now, we did laser for a while, and we still do it. A lot of people do laser. Laser is great. I particularly don't enjoy it. And nowadays we have really fantastic, medicine evolves. So we've now evolved to the brand is called Varicose, but what it is it's sclerotherapy, but it's foam sclerotherapy. So sclerotherapy is, and I always hate saying this to patients because I don't know, like it doesn't roll off your tongue very easily and it's a little weird. Like it's a detergent. I know that sounds weird. We're not injecting bleach into your veins or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's just all it means is that it, when it goes into your vein, the whole point of the laser or the sclerotherapy is to irritate the inside of your vein. And when it irritates the inside of your vein, it causes the vein to spasm and collapse. And when it spasms and collapses, it creates scar tissue and it scars down. And then it scars down and then eventually it goes away. So if it scars down and no blood can get in there, it shuts down and the blood gets diverted to the LIE in other places, which is good, which is what we want. So it's called a detergent because it disrupts the inner wall of the vein and it makes it angry and it spasms and then it eventually scars down. So we always used sclerotherapy for the tiny ones, so for spider veins and even the reticular veins. But now with foam, which means that we take the liquid and we create a foam and we have special foam that we create with oxygen. And what that does is it fills the big veins up better. And so it basically casts the whole big vein and then it causes the whole big vein to spasm down. So for what we used to do, with laser, I can put a tiny little needle into you in one or two spots in the leg. We treat sections at a time because you can only treat a certain amount at a time. And then I put in this foam detergent, which is sclerotherapy. It takes 10 minutes, 15 minutes at the most. And then that's it. We inject it. I watch with the ultrasound. Everything I do with the ultrasound. So I'm watching to make sure that it's safe and good. We make sure that the vein collapses properly. And then that's it. You walk on the treadmill here for about 10 minutes.
I will time you.
Yes, Noodles will time you. She'll come back and make sure you're doing okay. Although we have a very smart patient that pointed out to us that the treadmill actually counts the time for us. We didn't realize. We were just like, hey, and Noodles went, you would just set the alarm on your phone. And then go back. And he was like, no, it's he was smart for that. Anyway, and then that's it. So that's it. So instead of vein stripping and instead of laser, which is much more involved, we can inject you. And it takes, anywhere between, depending on how bad your veins are, it can take anywhere between 5 and 15 minutes. The injection takes 30 seconds, basically. Yeah, if you watch it with the ultrasound. Yeah, super quick. All you get is I use the tiniest needle. So it's like a needle stick, a little pin prick, and then that's it. And then you go home. But this is what's really important. I always tell patients that treating veins are a partnership between you and me. We're partners. We're buds.
Yeah,
we're partners.
A teamwork.
It's a
teamwork job.
Yeah, because I can do a beautiful job in the office, but if you don't follow your post instructions, it's not going to work. And basically that means, and I give you prescriptions for all this, you have to wear your compression stockings afterwards because we're trying to keep that vein collapsed down because it needs time to scar down, but just for 2 weeks. So 2 weeks and then that's it.
Yes. Abby asks, does it only need to be done once to shut it down permanently?
Yes. Can. So here's the problem with venous insufficiency. Once you start to suffer from venous insufficiency, it becomes like a lifelong battle, unfortunately. So yes, if the section of vein is treated properly, it will shut down permanently and it should not reopen as long as doctor does what they're supposed to do and you do what you're supposed to do, follow your post-op instructions. Yes, it will shut down permanently. However, you can grow new accessory veins in the area. So it won't be the same vein. It'll be a new vein. It may look like...
It'll be your neighbor.
Right.
Your twin neighbor.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so like, the major veins in our leg that we talk about shutting down is called the great saphenous vein and the small saphenous vein. And then sometimes you will develop, they're called accessory saphenous veins. And that's basically, it's a branch of the saphenous vein that now, has started to fail, and then it becomes a varicose vein. So yes, yes to your question, Abby, which was an excellent question. It will shut down permanently if you follow your post-op instructions and wear your compression stockings for 2 weeks. But can you grow a new vein, or can a new accessory vein develop kind of in that area? Yes.
So then it needs to get treated again.
Yes, the new vein needs to be treated. So it is not uncommon if you have venous insufficiency and you kind of started down that road. You may come to me and we treat two major veins in your legs, on your right side and your left side. 2 years later, you may come back to me and say, well, hey, I have this varicose vein now. What's going on?
Yeah.
It's a new vein. And so it needs to be treated. And we can treat them as many times as they need to be treated. So that's pretty much it. Minimal discomfort, safe and effective. It is covered by most insurance. Because varicose veins and venous insufficiency is not considered cosmetic. So most medical insurances will cover it. Spider veins, however, are a different story. Spider veins are considered cosmetic. So the tiny little ones that form, even though they are a product of your venous insufficiency. So a lot of times if people have spider veins from venous insufficiency and we treat the venous insufficiency, the spider veins may disappear to a certain degree. But whatever ones that are left, they're considered cosmetic, and the insurance won't cover those. So
anything that has to do with beauty.
Yeah, I mean, if it's not like, making your limb fall off, they're not going to. Don't get me started on the insurance companies. But anyway, I mean, unfortunately, it is what it is. But doesn't mean we can't treat them. Some people get spider veins and it has nothing to do with venous insufficiency. It's just genetic. It's, and those definitely won't be covered at all. But again, like everything we talk about, I can take care of them here. It is considered cosmetic. We do have financing options. So, but sclerotherapy is pretty reasonable. I'm a softie, so I'll usually end up as this one. I'll be in the room for like an hour, like trying to get through a little bit. Like, it becomes like, I don't know, a mission for me. So anyway, that's that. Anybody have any questions about varicose veins and sclerotherapy? Please write in the chat. Yeah, write in the comments, or you can DM me. I'm always happy to answer all your questions. Okay, next segment. Segment 2.
Ready?
Yeah. You ready, Noodles?
I'm ready.
All right. Now to the skincare portion. Skincare Smackdown.
She's ready for this. Really? We're back.
Super annoying. We're back now. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Are we still frozen? Oh. We're still frozen. Are we not frozen, or are we frozen?
What if it is?
Yes, we'll see. No,
you're lying.
Because we're monitoring on Noodle's phone, and so we still looked frozen on her phone. So anyway, if you've watched this before, you understand. We're still learning. Anyway, okay. Skincare Smackdown. What is the difference? So, basically, over-the-counter skincare. Okay, Noodle, do you know the difference between over-the-counter skincare and organic skincare and medical-grade skincare?
I just found out about sunscreen. You gotta relax. For me, it's the same thing. Just gotta put it on my face. That's all that matters.
Noodle is going to the beach this weekend, and I told her that she better not come back sunburned, or else I'm going to be very angry at her.
I'm trying my best.
Okay, so over-the-counter skincare is skincare that you find, like, say, over-the-counter at drugstore. So Target, Sephora, Ulta, those are all over-the-counter skincare. And technically organic is over-the-counter skincare also, okay? But, the difference is, okay, so over-the-counter skincare is regulated for safety, but it's not regulated for efficacy. So, which means, when you see like celebrities on TV and they're like, oh, I use this and I look like this after 2 weeks. No, it's not true. Now, I'm not saying that, there aren't decent over the counter skincare products.
Yeah.
There are, if you're 25, you can use those.
I'm always shining. I don't know what you're saying.
That's okay. I mean, like, you want to get your SPF over the counter, then get your SPF. I just rather you wear SPF than not wear anything at all. But if you're looking for stuff that's going to be effective, over the counter is not really effective. It's safe, but it's not effective, because in order to make it safe for everybody to use it, the amount of effective ingredients or active ingredients in it are so low or so minimal, it's like almost next to nil. And that's what makes it safe, so that I can use it. You can use it. The person with the sensitive skin can use it. You know what I mean? Because they can't risk people having a reaction, because that would be bad. But unfortunately, it also makes it basically ineffective. For some things. For some things that you do need higher quality ingredients for, like retinol, etc. It won't be effective. And so unfortunately, you're going to be spending all your money on this stuff, and it's not going to do anything. So they're made in big batches. Like I said, if you're young and you have very mild concerns, then it's okay. Organic is still basically over the counter, but people focus on it's natural ingredients, fewer synthetic, fewer additives, good for sensitive skin. However, what people don't seem to understand is that organic is not the same as effective. So again, organic lacks testing for active ingredients. So it'll be tested for safety, but again, it's not tested for efficacy. And then also, here's the thing, they say organic, no chemicals or whatever. Everything is technically a chemical because it's been processed to be put into your skincare. So unless you are literally smashing up an avocado or opening a jar of mayonnaise and smearing it on your face, even though it says organic, it is a chemical. Yeah. Because they have to process it. The problem with organic is they do use a lot of natural, which is great, but people who have allergies and who are sensitive to things, they can have a reaction with organic because, like I love lavender. I can have lavender, but if you are sensitive and you put lavender in the skincare and then on your face, you're going to have a reaction to it. So organic doesn't necessarily mean it's good. And then also with organic, because they're trying to make things organic and have less additives in them, there are certain things that need stability to be stable to put into, jars and then sit on a shelf for you to buy. So without those additives, those active ingredients may not be stable. And so basically you're not getting everything. So,
Hi, Emma.
Hi. I told Noodle before that she has to monitor the board because
there's a thing on there.
No, I know. But I can't talk and monitor at the same time because I'm not that good. So anyway, yeah. So that is the difference, So the difference. So now medical grade. The difference between medical grade is that it contains higher concentrations of active ingredients, but the most important difference is that it is clinically proven to do what it says it does. So all these other skincare products, you can go to a department store and buy a jar of skincare cream for $500. If it's not medical grade, they are not required to provide any evidence that product works.
That's what makes it different.
Right. The FDA, like I said, it'll be regulated for safety, but not efficacy. So the FDA doesn't force these companies to prove
that it's going to be effective.
Right. That the celebrity on TV, is
looks
saying
like
the
that
truth
because of it.
Right. Exactly. The difference between the medical grade products is that they put themselves through voluntary FDA testing so that they can get that stamp of approval that says this product does what it says it does.
Look at me. Right?
This product does what it says. And any of these companies that have medical grade skincare, well, especially the ones that I carry here because I know them and I trust them and I've used them for years and years and years. You can go and read the papers. You can go online. You can read the scientific clinical papers that prove that they use to prove that their products do what they say they do. So that is the major difference between all the other ones. These medical grade skincare products quit themselves. Do medical grade products have to be prescribed? Yes. So medical grade, not a prescription in the sense that, I send a prescription into the pharmacy, but they have to be purchased through a physician. So you cannot buy. So that's another important point.
Yeah. If you go to our page, I think it's there, right?
Yes. You can, there's the link in the bio, you can buy, we have sites where you can buy the products through me. And again, if there's anybody out there who has a skin concern and you're not sure what to buy, again, you can DM me, message me, tell me what your concern is, and I'll do my best to recommend products. The 3 brands, you can probably see that I like and I use personally on my skin every day are SkinCeuticals, Elastin, and Skin Better Science. SkinCeuticals you can buy other places, but Skin Better Science and Elastin, which are really the powerhouses, you have to buy through a physician. So you can purchase them through me. If you go to the website, there are links to purchase them through the office. If you go to the link tree, the link in the bio, there are links to purchase them through the office. Obviously, you can come to the office and purchase them, which I sell them at a little bit of a discount. Shh, don't tell them. But I don't carry all of the products in the office because I just can't. But you want to stop on by? I'm happy to talk to you about your skin, and I can recommend products, and you can get a discount and not pay any tax. So. Yes, it is good to know, Abby. Good to know. But they're also, not only do they have the higher concentrations of clinically active ingredients, is that they're also backed by research to penetrate deep into the layers of the skin. So this is an important point, if you were putting on, I had somebody here once, like I was trying to explain to them the benefits of, medical grade skincare. And she was saying to me, she's like, oh, I feel like at the end of the day, like I just wash off like a layer of like slime or, she's like, I wash all the skincare. I said, that's how you are not using good skincare products because you should not
soaked in, right?
Right. You should not feel like at the end of the day that you're washing off a layer off of your face. Like, when you put good skincare products in, medical grade skincare, it goes into your skin.
That's like supposed to work on, yeah.
Like I always use myself as like I have my morning routine and I'm maniacal, so you don't necessarily need to do this, but I'm a little crazy. I put on probably about 8 different products on my skin in the morning. And you would have no noodle. Would you have any idea?
No.
You have no idea because I'm using all this stuff and it goes right in. I put on Age and Blemish from SkinCeuticals. I put on CE Ferulic, or I put on C Defense, which is vitamin C. I put on hyaluronic acid. I put on peptide on my face and peptide around my eyes. I put on moisturizer around my eyes, moisturizer on my face, and then I put my SPF 75 sunblock on top of all of it. So
yeah, it doesn't look like she has anything.
I get closer to the screen, but like I said, woof. It's like, it gets like fishbowl. And yeah. You can come here and you can check me. Today I had a lovely compliment from one of the reps.
Yeah.
He said that I have no wrinkles. And I always look like I'm glowing. Yeah. I think maybe he was trying to sell me stuff, but I'll take it. Okay. So, no, but seriously though, I mean, I put on that many products and it's not like it peels. It's not an issue, but that's because they're good products. They're good products and they penetrate deep into the layers. So, and that's what you need. Like if you're trying to take care of pigmentation or acne or fine lines or wrinkles or skin laxity, you need stuff that's going to penetrate. So,
Emma asked a question.
Sure, Emma.
Does the peptide
Yes.
help with the dark circles?
Yes, it does. I have elastin. It's a special peptide eye serum, and it's specifically for puffiness and fine lines and for dark circles. So, and look, we also have stuff, machines that we do here, but today is the skincare. So
Yeah.
we'll talk about that. And I do carry the eye serum in the office. So I know what the next question is. How much does all of this cost, right? Like, people think, oh, medical grade, it's really expensive and I can't afford it. So here's the thing. You can buy one medical grade skincare product that's going to take care of what 5 from Sephora would do. So yeah, the medical grade skincare product, first of all, they're really not that much more expensive than stuff you would find in Sephora. Definitely a little more expensive than stuff you find in Ulta. But, then you can go to a department store and like I said, there are certain brands which we don't want to say out loud. It'll cost you $500. Okay, I'll put one aside for you. She's so cute. Oh yeah, so we're not gonna say the brand, but you can buy a $500 jar of moisturizer and you don't know if it's doing anything. But anyway, like I said, so one active, medical grade can take over for 5 different things that you're buying at Sephora, and they last longer. Like I use elastin, I use the retinol 0.5, and I think I've been using the same bottle for at least 6 months. So versus hyaluronic acid, I go through like water. I love that, But that's the thing. So like, it may seem like it's a little more expensive, but you're going to actually get effective skincare. It's going to last you longer and you're going to need less products. Yeah. And you don't have to be like me. You don't have to put 10 different things on your face at once. Like I said, you can come on in, you tell me what concerns you have, and we'll figure out like a good regimen.
So I don't have to put on sunblock. You just said I didn't have to be like no. That's no like there's no end to that one.
Like I said on the very first episode, if there is nothing else you're gonna do to take care of your skin. So weird.
Okay. I know.
We're back. Right?
Yeah, we're back.
I had a point and now I can't remember. No, because I was gonna talk about the cost also, but now I can't remember.
It was all because of the SPF.
I know, she distracted me with the SPF, so I can't remember what it is. Anyway, so yeah, I know, like, it might seem like a little bit of a sticker shock, it's more expensive, but I promise in the long run, you're gonna end up spending less money than, I had a patient who came in, well, actually, she came in and she was telling me all the issues she was having and how she's tried all these different products. And I said, go home and send me a picture. Send me a picture of all the products that you have, and I'll see. I mean, she had about, I swear to God,
I know it's true,
25 to 30 products that if she bought 1 or 2 from the cabinet, she would have spent less money and it would have actually been effective.
Especially if you have like a stubborn area and you're trying to take it out because it bothers you. Yeah. You go through I've gone through reviews or anything of any stores and I'll be like, well, I just spent like $500 on nothing.
Yeah. Which, that was the point I was going to make before. Back to the question that Abby asked about prescription. Do not buy anything off of those online stores. You know what I'm talking about? Don't say it. We don't want to get ourselves in trouble. But that big store that you can buy pretty much anything online and have it sent to you the same day. There are
You buy food on this store?
Yes.
What about sneakers?
Yes.
I think I know the store.
Yeah, subtle, right? There are counterfeit. Like they'll make counterfeit anything nowadays, but there are counterfeit skincare products. So
gotta be careful.
Right. You might say like, oh look, I'm saving some money and I'm gonna buy it from this place and not buy it through a physician, and it's
They do the same thing with the perfumes.
Yeah.
I realized that one the hard way. It didn't last as long. I was thinking after an hour.
Oh, really?
No, I'm just being dramatic, but I was like, damn, not the same one.
Yeah. I mean, look, the counterfeiters nowadays, like they will get the details down to like,
Yeah.
oh, the minute, and it looks just like, and it's not. So,
Yeah, that's true.
So don't. Guess that's it. I think that's it. I can't remember. There was another point in my head that I was gonna say, but it's gone. It's left for the evening. So,
It clocked out.
it clocked out. It clocked out for the night. So, yeah. So that's pretty much it. So, varicose veins. We have simple, easy sclerotherapy treatment that we can treat varicose veins with. You have varicose veins, or you think you might have venous insufficiency. Again, you can make an appointment. Come see me in the office. DM me if you have a question. I'll try and answer your questions for you. This little box keeps coming up, and I'm just worried that somebody might ask a question and then.
Why does it ring?
No.
I'm gonna have to ask my boyfriend, ChatGPT.
They're in a deep, loving relationship with each other. Yeah, so DM me, ask me any questions. I'm happy to answer them. Skincare questions. I'm happy to answer them. I'm getting text messages. They say that the picture is gone. All right, I guess we're gonna wrap things up because you look frozen over. That looks frozen, and
At least I'm smiling.
yeah. And I think people can hear me talking, but they can't see me. So I don't know. Anyway, so vein consultation, veins will be covered by insurance, most likely, depending on your insurance. But we work very hard to get them covered. So if you think you're suffering from venous insufficiency, or you have varicose veins or anything like that, please, again, call link in bio, make an appointment. I can check things out for you and we can see what's going on. Skin, same thing. Come in, you can even stop on by for, as long as I'm not in a procedure or with another patient, if you want to come in and pick something up, but you want to talk to me and ask me first, I'm happy to. If I'm available, I am happy to assist. Yes. And work out a skincare regimen for you. So I think that's it. Again, questions, DM me. I will do my best. And all right. So noodles.
We got a toodles?
I think we got a toodles. Next week, I know at the end of we always decide on what our topic is going to be for next week. But we may be on hiatus next week.
Noodles is going to be out.
Yeah, Noodles is out for the week. So we'll see. We'll see if I feel like doing this. Probably not. Yeah, that's it. All right. Well, thank you all again for joining us on our 4th episode. This is our 4th episode. Our 4th episode of Live with Dr. S and Noodles. Woo!
I can become a cheerleader.
Thank you always for joining. Thank you for your questions. Lots of awesome questions tonight. And yeah, I guess we'll see you next week. So from Your Interventional Masculine Care,
we're gonna toodles or noodles. I pick one out of the two. Why change them?